Bollock's Pit stole my heart and crushed it before giving it back to me. I adore this game, and not just because I love Brick Breaker, but because the game is rewarding. And don't get me wrong, though the game is challenging for sure, and I'm not actually very good at playing it at all, but one of the things that I like to make clear is that I don't have to be good at a game to recognize that it is a good game. And to go along with that, I don't have to be very good at any game to have fun with that game. With that being said, welcome to the Pixel Panda Arcade, and today I'm doing a review of Ball X Pit. If you like roguelites, this might be the one for you. I'm normally extremely picky with them because they can be hit or miss. And I only tried Ball X Pit because it's on Game Pass. Not only am I glad that I tried this game, but it made me realize that I need to try these kinds of games more. So before I get into the actual gameplay mechanics, I just want to talk a little bit about the story. In Balak's pit, Balbalon has fallen. And so in the beginning of the game, you'll see a meteor completely annihilates this once great city. It leaves nothing but a huge pit. And that pit lures treasure hunters, and that's basically who you're playing as. Now, as you play the game, you're going to be building new Balbalon using one of my favorite takes on city building in the genre. There's a huge cast of characters that I only know by name. I won't lie. I didn't pay any attention to the story in this game. It didn't captivate me in any way, and normally I would hold that against a game, but the gameplay here is what I'm really playing for. So, Balak's pit sees you being sent into a narrow pit facing waves of monsters, and eventually you'll face a boss that will have a different game mechanic depending on what stage you're on. Your character shoots balls at incoming enemies, and you have to get pretty creative sometimes because some enemies have ice shields and others will slide around on the map, and some shoot various projectiles at you. As you go through the level, you'll be asked to fuse balls, evolve balls, or level up balls. I know. But this mechanic adds a spice of life to the gameplay pattern that would otherwise become a little monotonous over time. The sheer variety of the balls that you get to collect and the amount of different combinations had me awestruck for my first few hours. And this review is only showcasing the first two levels, but you play it in plenty of different environments. To go along with the different environments, there are a few dozen different characters to unlock and level up. One of the biggest gameplay surprises for me was how good it felt to city build at the end of each run. You have to be strategic with where you put things because your units need to reach the buildings to build them properly. They're also going to have to reach them to level them up. The fun part about this is using the shapes of the buildings to apply buffs that are unlocked as you level up your character. And it is fun watching these buffs grow. I'm not joking, this is one of the most rewarding roguelites I've ever played. Bollock's Pit is an extremely rewarding game in all of the right ways. First, each character is rewarded handsomely for finishing a level for the first time. They get blueprints, gold, and a lot of XP, which in turn helps you build your city quicker. I also really appreciate that the built-in encyclopedia fills out as you play. It allows you to easily recall the ball combinations that you've already seen. Bollock's Pit won't waste your time either. Every combination is listed under the ball once you've found it. It keeps the gameplay going at a steady pace. One of the things that was easy to overlook at the start of the game was the math behind all of the upgrades. At first, you won't feel the math doing its thing, but as you continue to invest in the city building, the investment pays off. The further you get into the game, which I appreciate because it can be tedious to burn through resources. I need to take a second to talk about the characters in this game. Each one of the characters does something different, which I appreciate. Their houses also get upgrades, which can help keep your game moving. The reason that I wanted to take a second to talk about the characters is because they make Bollock's Pit what it is. Bollock's Pit has really interesting gameplay mechanics, and they all shine in their own way, but what makes me excited to play this game is trying new characters and getting to see how those characters perform. Trying a new character is a highlight for me and is one of the biggest reasons I can continue to come back to this game. What's funny to me as well is that the designs of the characters are not lost completely in the art style. Plenty of character radiates from the ball patterns, and their overhead designs, but a lot of the design work is lost in the browns and grays that happen, but the characters still manage to pop in their own way, especially the further you get in the game. To summarize my time with Ball Pit, it has been nothing short of a delight to play, and I'm not someone who loves this genre, but this game has made me a believer, which is not to say that I didn't have some complaints. The first and biggest being that the way that resources work is a little tedious. I constantly find myself struggling with stone and wood, while wheat and gold are extremely plentiful. I don't know if this is because of something that I'm doing wrong, which it could be, or because the way that resources work is a bit scattered, so to speak. And while I enjoy the art style, I find that a lot of the cooler details are completely washed out by the browns and grays of the backgrounds, which are used frequently, and it's a bummer because the balls get cool designs as you fuse and evolve them. That being said, I do love the style of Bollock's Pit, and I think that the art style makes the game what it is. Not only is the style of the game good, but the soundtrack is great too. Though I had to kill the music for my videos, the sound effects of the balls are pure ASMR too, so if you like that, be sure to play the game. That's going to be hit or miss though, depending on the kind of person you are. And while this review doesn't contain anything from the big update that happened, they did update the game to add levels and 2 new characters. So the art style is what stood out to me the most. It fills the game with a ton of flavor, and when combined with the soundtrack and the ball sound effects, the whole game feels like the best version of Brick Breaker that I've ever played. The fusion and evolution mechanics are a realized division, and nothing about the game mechanics in Bollock's Pit feels incomplete. The stages, enemies, and the base building all come together beautifully, and Bollock's Pit rewards you heavily for replaying levels and leveling up characters, and these rewards make the game feel nearly infinitely replayable. As for what I didn't like, Bollock's Pit uses a lot of browns, which completely drown out some of the designs of the balls and the characters. It also makes the city building portion look more bland than it actually is. The game doesn't need to be completely vibrant, but a few splashes of stronger color would have really helped here. Bollock's Pit is getting a ruby token. Be sure to check out the link below to read more about how I review games. If you like roguelike games, I highly suggest giving this one a go, and if you have Game Pass, it's on Game Pass at the time of this review going live. Thank you for subscribing to the Pixel Panda Arcade. If this video helped you at all, or gave you some insights, or you just like hearing me speak, please drop a comment, leave me a like, and maybe a subscribe if you're feeling it. I'll see you in the next one.